Hi friends, I'm Michael Levine and welcome to another edition of Without Notes, which I think is a fantastic title in that it aptly describes the adventure we're going on. Without Notes indicates a show that is done without any conditions, any notes. It's transparent, it's authentic, at least I hope it will be, and vulnerable. Now, if you're living in America in the early part of the 20th century, and you're living particularly in an urban area, it is impossible, literally impossible, no matter the city, to not see a phenomena that is literally unbelievable in terms of homelessness in the streets. Dr. Grossman is the founder of a charity. He decided many years ago, far before this was the crisis it is today, to do something. Maybe at the time he thought it was a little something, but he did something about homelessness. That's going to be, in part, our topic today. Welcome, Dr. J. Grossman.
Thank you, Michael. Good to be here.
Founder of Homeless Not Toothless. All right, so let's start with, where were you born?
I was born in New York.
Born in New York City?
Long Island.
Long Island, okay. All right, fantastic. Born in Long Island in New York City. And were you raised in a home that I would have, had I viewed it, would have appeared to be a middle-class home, a lower middle-class home, an upper middle-class home? What would that have appeared to my eyes to have been had I known you then?
You know, looking back, I would say it was middle class.
Okay, you were right.
So my parents decided that my mother was going to be a stay-at-home mother. And
very common at the time.
It was very, very common. And looking back, I actually appreciated that. Mm-hmm. Whereas nowadays, you know, both parents are working. And,
often.
And you know, sometimes there's somebody else at the house that's not family, that's raising the kids. I've got concerns about that. I think that's another show.
Right. What topics we'll talk about?
Yeah. My father was a purchasing agent for an electronics company, and I didn't know this until just before he passed away, that he actually chose that job because there was no travel, it wasn't cutthroat, it was very low stress, and it was minutes from the house. And he told me just before he passed that he chose that because he actually wanted to be home to get me ready for school in the morning and to be home in time to give me a bath before dinner. Mm-hmm. So those were formative years for me, and something that I think actually helped shape me as a father.
Okay. Yes, modeling.
Yeah.
So now, how many children in the family?
My sister and myself. There's two of us.
Two. And you're the older?
I am.
You're the older. Okay. And so, tell us a little bit about your mom.
My mother is a very strong-willed. She's got great opinions. She's happy to voice them. She'll sit at the table and engage in, you know, politics and ethics. She's got a strong sense of right and wrong. So much so that when I was a teenager, or my sister was a teenager, she went back and got her master's degree in family therapy. And although she never practiced that, it was something that she just enjoyed learning about.
Now again, correct me here, that phenomena that you just spoke of would be more common today, but less common then. Going
Yes.
back to, you know.
A bit of a Renaissance woman, I guess you could say.
Yes.
Yeah. And then she got a job later on. I mean, it was almost out of the house, working, you know, at the public library, an administrative position.
And the marriage, to your recollection, was generally a good one?
Yeah, you know, I think that the issues that
marriage is complicated.
Marriages could be complicated. I think that the main takeaway that I had was that there were financial concerns, and you know, from a single income family, I'm not surprised. And I think that's probably one of the most common things that people talk about in marriage. It's either a communication issue or a financial issue that tend to cause stresses in families.
Were you a modestly good student?
Was pretty good.
Pretty good student. And did it come easily to you, or did you have to work hard at it, or a little of both?
Yeah, I would say that in high school, I coasted through high school until a teacher called me out, and he he read me like a book. And it's a fun story. You want to hear this?
Yes, I do.
So it's social studies, it's 10th grade. We get the first test back, and I got an 88 on it. And I'm pretty excited. I didn't put a moment of studying into it. And he goes, class dismissed early, everybody except for Jay. Pulls me into his office that's smaller than this table and lights his...
This table is not large.
Michael, he likes his pipe.
Oh.
Does that tell you how old I am?
Yes.
He lights a pipe in high school.
Yes.
And as he's puffing on the pipe, he says...
And by the way, again, absolutely normal at the time.
Normal smoking at school.
Yep.
And he goes, I was thinking about failing you on this test. I said, failing me? I didn't cheat. He goes, I didn't say you did, but you didn't study either. And I could feel myself, I'm standing at his desk as he's puffing away. And blood's gone. And you know it's gone. You know you showed your hand. What do? So the only thing I could think of is, how did you know? So he takes his grade book and he turns it around and he puts it in front of me. And he says, find your name. And I find my name and he goes, what grades do you have? And I go, 88, 88. I go, why are there two 88s? That's my first test. And he goes, what does it say on the top of the first column? And I went to the top and it says, anticipated grade based on classroom participation. Michael, who does that?
Yeah.
Who does that?
Either a prophet or a wise man, or a man who's...
He goes, Jay, you walked into my class with an 88, which means I didn't teach you anything.
Yeah.
What do you want to do when you grow up? And I said, I want to be a dentist. He goes, how do you know that? And I said, I was 10 years old when I decided I was going to be a dentist. He goes, how?
Yeah.
I said, well, our dentist was a friend of the family. We commuted almost an hour to his office, an hour to go to the dentist. And he was always happy and jubilant, and he made a difference for people. And he made an above average income. And I'm looking at all of that and I'm going,
sounds good to me.
What's there not to like?
Yeah.
So he said, do you think an 88 is good enough to get you into a medical school? And Michael, nobody's ever asked me that before.
No, it's an interesting question and well put. Very well put.
But I didn't know. I'm 15 years old. So he goes,
Socratically teaching the person. Short number of words. Do you think an 88 is good enough to get you in medical school? Now that'll have somebody thinking.
And I thought. And he goes, how about we find out? So he reaches underneath his desk and he tosses me a Yellow Pages. Do we have to explain that to the audience?
Yeah, we do. We do. And we do have to explain to anyone under 50.
Exactly.
Correct.
So
we have viewers all over the world.
I understand.
So they don't know what Yellow Pages.
I understand. So I open it up to dentist, and there's a full-page article for Dr. Charlie Pilar. I could remember this. This is 45 years ago, Michael. So I just turned 60. I mean, it was literally 45 years ago. And he goes, let's give him a call. I go, what do you want me to say? He goes, introduce yourself and then introduce me.
About his grades.
So here's how the conversation goes. I call, Marjorie answers the phone. This
is at a time in America where people answered the phone. And dental offices answered in under 50 rings.
Exactly. And I said, hi, Marjorie, my name is Jay Grossman. I'm a high school student down the street. My social studies teacher would like to speak with Dr. Pilar if he's available. She goes, hold on, and he gets on the phone.
Unthinkable today.
And he goes, how can I help you? And my teacher, whose last name was Boss, Hillary Boss, he was English, so Hillary was a masculine name back then. And he goes, my name is Mr. Boss, I'm a social studies teacher. I have the potential valedictorian in front of me, to which I turn around because I don't know who he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Now, who might he be speaking of?
And he wants to be a dentist when he grows up. And suddenly I realize this phone call's about me. Mm-hmm. And he goes, we have a new program where our students could volunteer a half a day a week at your office. You could enlighten them, show them your field for free.
Hard to be free.
Hard to be free.
Yeah.
But there is some coaching that goes along with it. So he did have to do something.
Yep.
And I was wondering if you'd be willing to help our students really see what their future has to hold for them. So Dr. Pilar says, I would be happy to participate. What day would be best for you? He goes, Monday afternoons are really great days to come and watch. And he goes, what are the odds? That's exactly when our class meets. He'll be there. He hangs up the phone, and he picks up the phone, and he calls the principal. And while the phone's ringing, I go, I've never heard of this program. How long's it been going on? And he says, About 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So he calls the principal. He goes, I have a great idea. He made that program up, Michael. He made that program up for me. Now, several other students partook in this and did other things outside of dentistry. And I'm still in touch with Dr. Pilar.
You are?
I certainly am.
And what happened to Mr. Boss?
He passed away. Yeah.
Dear friends, if you like this show, if you found it as impactful as I did, or half as impactful as I did, I do hope you will like it on social media, YouTube, Facebook, all the various platforms. Share it. Talk about it. Discuss it. Debate it. Engage it. Comment on it. And very, very blessed for your time.